All right, gonna do a solo prime. My friend Maddie's taking a break, so one of my boys wanted to see it. So here I am, gonna do a little solo shot tonight, picking out of the 6 spot. So I'm on and picking 6. This is just thrown up there, not announced. If anyone's watching, great. If anyone's not, no problem. Let's go. Just kind of picking 6, about to kick off here. Another live stream. Why not? Just going to sit here and draft, picking boards moving, which is pretty crazy how things have been shaken up. We just came off our OC, Maddie and I, which was fun. We got a good team out of 3, so 6. Let's see what we can do here. Probably looking at a lot of different options. I like this spot, a little different. The board's changing and changing quite frequently. So get into primetime mode. It's time for get different looks. So we're off and running. This is just more informational for everybody if they want to see what's going on. Here's a live primetime. So I don't know if I'll say as much. I know I usually have a lot to say, a lot to kid, but you can't really joke with yourself. All right, so we got chalky start so far. I'm on deck, picking 6. Let's see what Team 5 does. And that will dictate where we're going. All right, so I'm on ride. I'm going to take guy I don't have enough of. And I had a debate with a good friend of mine today about this guy. So all day JSN for me at 6, not even a choice to really think about what to do there. So JSN is going to start this build off, which I'd like more exposure to JSN than I've had. So I'm happy with that. Let's see the way the rest of this cookie crumbles for me here tonight. So much going on. News, players getting hurt, players not getting hurt. Jeff Cos. Yeah, Jeff, I got some cojones at last check. You know me. I don't give a shit. I'm just sitting here drafting by myself. Why not go live? Give people more insight to what the heck is going on with these primetime boards. So we're seeing, I think they're very similar. I know people say a little bit different, which at times they are, but you got a lot of repetition in some of these boards. So my boy Chase Brown going, I've been grabbing him quite a bit. So it's interesting is trying to keep up with the draft at the same time, looking at the board. We got Chase Brown in the first round firmly now. That's not even a secret anymore. Taylor McCaffrey, Genty. So we'll see where Team 12 goes. And then get ready. I'm thinking for me, it's a lot of options in the middle of the board at this stage. So we'll see. This is getting interesting. We are in the heart of drafting season right now, having a lot of fun. Justin Jefferson finds his way in the first round. He's been teetering between pick 12 and 15 for the most part. I haven't seen him go any further than that. So let's see what we got now. What Team 12 is going to build. So again, very chalky first round. Usual suspects are in there. We've seen Taylor end up in the second, Jefferson in the second, but everyone else has been in the first, especially Chase Brown. There's a couple of guys that have kind of popped down a little bit from where they're used to. But like I said, we're seeing a lot of I like to call the usual suspects going at this point. So I like getting JSN to start. Don't have enough JSN exposure. Obviously, last year I loved him. So there goes O'Marion Hampton, who's also firmly finding his way at the top of the boards. I think I saw a highlight of him today running over somebody in San Francisco, which not surprising. And if you listen to our stream the other night, Ben Albright said that when they talk about the hot hand, his hands will be scalding hot with the amount of touches that he's going to see in LA. James Cook going a little bit later than usual. there for Team 11, starting with Brown and Cook. That's a build I got a bunch, and I like a lot. So, again, I think, people talk about, you go running backs, receivers. Some of it is, value and who you like and where they are. I kind of look at it like I'm going to take the guy I think that's available, that's valuable, versus, I need this or I need that, especially in the beginning. You got to get these picks right. So Kenny Walker goes. So big running back run, which is, going to probably steer me in a direction of receiver potentially. There's also a couple other guys out there that I like. So we will see. Hopefully everyone just keeping an eye on the board, seeing where this PT is going. Brock Bowers. I am up next. Barkley goes. So I am not afraid of what I saw today in regards to Mr. Olave. He ran back out. I'm happy to get him to go with JSN. So I'm all for that. I passed up a couple of guys. I wanted some Olave exposure at that point. Even though some guys have slipped a little bit in this draft. Those of you who've been drafting a lot certainly would know that. So next pick, A.J. Brown, who I was considering there, but I did want to grab some Olave. I think he's going to be peppered in New Orleans. And A.J. Brown's a solid pick as well, but I wanted to go the Olave route deliberately. With Tyson out, Olave is going to get fed till he can't be fed anymore. I've had up and down luck with A.J. Brown. Some years been great. Some years he's been disappointment. He's obviously in a great smash situation with Drake May, so that's obviously enticing. Drake London goes now. Let's see here. We got Team 4 going Puka London, 5 Brown, St. Brown and Brown. Me with Olave passing up A.J. Brown. Some people may not like that, but like I said, I wanted some Olave exposure, considering I think he's in a great spot. So let's see where we are now. Back end of those of you who don't know, the NFFC third round reversal. So picking 12th, you pick first in the third round. Start 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, quarterback who scores 6 points for touchdowns, tight end, flex, team kicker, team defense. George Pickens, who's also a firm second round. I picked him up in the third round in a draft last night, the 10 o'clock OLC, and started with Brown and Hampton and got Pickens in the third round, which was nice. There goes Malik Neighbors, going a little bit early. Now he's firmly in the second round. He's been going all over the second round. He has really not fallen to the third at all. And now Team 1 picking. Oh, and I have to, my friend Nate. Nate, man, even when we're not announced, you come on, brother. I appreciate you. Not a lot of people watching tonight, so I'm not expecting a big crowd. Part of this was one of my buddies said he'd like to see a draft, so I threw it up. Thanks for watching, as always. I got that post-cigar voice going. You can hear it. Devonta Smith, Team 1, taking him as wide receiver 1. So, again, very generally goes Rashee Rice. I have not picked up a lot at all this year. He's not on pretty much any of my teams. I have one early OLC with him. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out to me here. Zay Flowers, who I love, one of my biggest owned players off the board. So that was one guy I wouldn't have minded grabbing. So we'll see. We'll see how this flows now. Got 4 picks before me. Thanks, Nate. Nice start. Appreciate that. Long way to go here. These are, all getting tough drafts, different looks. I'm not going to review the board. Just going to put this draft up for people to see at prime time. So that'll be it. Nothing fancy. Matty Moe is tapped out tonight. He's been all over the internet. Sirius XM live streams. He had his Empire show today. The man is just in demand and is tapped out for the night, which is very rare for Matty Moe. All right, so I'm coming up in 4 picks. Got a couple of guys that I'm eyeing here in the queue. One I don't have a lot of, which I wouldn't mind getting. And one won't. Yeah, we'll talk about it when the draft goes by. Some of the guys that I'm kind of off of a little bit for now, for different reasons. This guy is taking the clock to the buzzer, and he goes with Garrett Wilson. So I have to really debate on Jet legend Garrett Wilson. All right, Ladd McConkey goes. That was one guy I was hoping to grab. Wouldn't have minded a little Ladd McConkey exposure here. So I got some choices based on the guy in front of me picks a heck of a lot of prime time. So this guy is one of the big not in the OLCs, a big volume guy in PT. He goes with Trey McBride. So he takes tight end 2, Trey McBride. So I have a choice here between receiver and a running back who's still out there, who I do like. I know people are always waiting for him to fall off a cliff. I got a lot of heavy wide receiver builds, but I think I'm going to mix it up tonight and go with a little Derrick Henry exposure and get him at my running back. So I'm not completely punting on running back. So again, mixing it up. I don't have a lot of Derrick Henry. Got a lot of receiver builds. So why not be a little bit more balanced in a prime time? Maybe take less chances with wide receiver heavy builds when opportunity knocks. And I thought for Derrick Henry, why not at this point? Otherwise, somebody bring a good value in him if I let him go. There goes T. Higgins, who's certainly in the realm of possibilities for me at my pick. So let me just start getting ahead of the game. There goes Luther Burden, who people are not really worried about, nor am I. I think he is looking good to start the season. Again, I'm not a doctor, but all reports is what really everyone goes off of, right? People talk about, I know this, they know that. You just know what's out there in the public, public airwaves. So, hopefully Burden is out there. People have been drafting him a lot and early, expecting a breakout on that Bears offense. So we're off and running here. This is moving quick. So we're around 3. Only 1 clock drainer so far. So thank all 19 of you watching this impromptu streams. I'm sure I probably know everyone who's watching, because it's probably just popped up on Twitter. There goes my boy Jalen Waddle for the ever powerful Denver Broncos. And of course, my friend, the man who I'm dedicating this stream to, Mr. GST himself, Fantasy Empire legend Christopher Vaccaro, who said, "You know what, Paul, I need to see a prime time." I said, "I'll give you a prime time, my man." Tried to be nice to him today. Backfired on me. So here I am doing God's work, putting up a primetime impromptu stream. This is what technology does. I mean, I know my friend there, GST21 D4Q, still drafting off of his Commodore 64 and playing Bird versus Jordan. They give the people what they want. Yeah, that's what I do, Chris. I deliver what is asked of me. There goes DJ Moore. Christian Watson to Team 1. I'm trying to shuffle around my mouse here. So nice start, Team 1, as usual. Great kickers. I know it was a good game. Chris, did you play Tapper? I played Tapper on my Commodore 64 religiously. But you actually play Tapper in real life. Chris, who's a very successful bar owner, is a true Tapper in real life. So we are steaming through round 4. I have a decision to make on someone. It'll be very interesting to see what falls to me here. After going with Mr. Henry, totally changes up what I'm doing a little bit. So we're going to look and see the best route. There's a couple of receivers who I like. Colston Loveland was a consideration. I think he was someone to consider. Getting him exposed in. The board's too small. Chris, I mean, I think you need reading glasses, because haven't we decided on the fact that you need reading glasses at this point? Let me see if I can make the board bigger. I don't know if that's better or worse. Is that better? A little sharper? I think that's fine. I can see it. Let me know what you think, GST21, of the board now. A little crisper. All right, so round 4, I'm coming up next with decisions to make. And my friends, the Hillesheims, take my boy, Parker Washington. Knew I was thirsty for that pick. Okay, a lot better. Thanks, Nate. Nate, you can see. I'm assuming you're younger than Chris. All right, so I'm up here, 39 seconds. The receivers have flew off the board. So a decision to make on, God, is this one guy sitting here who we all know who I'm talking about. I don't know if I want to take him at this point. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to expose a little bit of a different build here and take quarterback one. I don't, have Josh Allen in this contest, so I'm going to just kind of try to build this a little bit differently tonight. The guys out there I like, don't love. Why not take QB one? I know this quarterback value. I get it. It's there. It's it falls. I get that, but why not get a little Josh Allen exposure when you're mixing up your boards a little bit? So that's what I decided to do there. Again, this is very different for me. Quarterback, running back, two receivers, not something I typically do, but want to do something a little bit different here, mix it up tonight. There goes Mike Evans. And clearly one guy is falling and he can't get up. I mean, it is blatantly obvious, the fear. People who watch the Empire today. A lot of piss on the left side. Yeah, I'm not putting everyone's comments up. It's a little bit hard to toggle back and forth. But yeah, there's a lot of piss on the left side. So again, this is a different board, right? Look at this, very, very heavy receiver. I got two. I'm probably going to have a little bit of a weakness at three based on what I did. So, we'll see what I can put together here. But have no fear. I think that there's a lot of good players out there, a lot of value. So I might just take a completely different path tonight and build this team. Rome Adunze going. He was being faded early in the drafts. Not say faded, but he was going 7th round. I think people were off on him with his toe, but he seems to be back. There goes Amika. So Babuka, I'll pick him in the 2nd round not too long ago. Now goes 4th round late. That's probably one of the biggest drops, we've seen of him of late. I think people are very concerned about the injury. I personally love him, but I'm putting him on the shelf now from a draft perspective, just because I've got to see that turf toe really can scare the shit out of you at any position. But hey, listen, it gets to a point where, he's about in a spot now where you say, do I take him? Right. And he was taken there. So it makes a heck of a lot of sense. At some point, I doubt he would have made it back to me. I probably would have taken him in the 5th round for sure, but I just couldn't do it in the 4th round. Again, gotta be a little bit smart and be careful taking the risk. There goes Marvin Harrison. He's been 4th round is early for Marvin Harrison. From what I've seen, he's starting to find his way up. And that guy's, he could be great. He could be a complete bust. It's a tough call with him. But he could be a guy that could really explode at some point. The talent's there. The results have not been. So Jay Wimmers. Hey, Jay, thanks for joining. Fear and spiders. All right, well, Jay, and then huge drop, Nate. Clearly, Abuka fell down. So we got guy picking back into the board here. Got double picks. He started out with 2 receivers and a running back. The builds are pretty normal right now. I mean, I'm one of the outliers, I would say. You got teams with hero running back builds, full yellow. I mixed it up, which is probably the build that people would criticize the most, quite frankly, but that's fine. I don't mind doing a little bit differently in this spot. But, you're seeing the receiver run here, which means, running back value is this draft, right? So I'm looking at the draft list of running backs, and the value is splattered. So, could be something that I might, change up how I usually draft, because the value has switched from one position to another. So we'll see. Thank you, Billy. My build is fine. Just land a plane. Billy, I always wanted to be a pilot, but decided to become a banking consulting nerd instead. So we'll see. I got, 7 picks coming up. Cutoff tee for the one possible lady checking in tonight. Sun's out. The guns are always out in the summer for me. Not that I have the guns, but I like to be comfortable. Just took a nice walk with the dog after dinner. Working on the health, is in much better shape. No, I look 120. I'm trying to get the body down to at least 85. Chris, you're lucky I can't put all your comments up. I can just read them out. Chris saying bumpy landing, a lot of turbulence. Yeah. Chris, I did this for you. Now you're busting my balls. This is exactly how things backfire on you in life. You know, you put a stream up for your boy, says I want to see a board, and then he just rips you the whole time. But kind of used to that. All right, so 5 picks before me. I got a couple of guys lined up. One guy I love. Hope he comes to me. Doubt it, but we'll see. These guys in front of me got mixed build, so team 10, 9, and 8 can go in any direction. So it is a complete wild card for what may happen. So we're going to see where we're going here. This team is taking the clock down. 8, 7, 6. What's for Josh Jacobs? Josh Jacobs goes to team 10, 3 running backs. Again, I guess he might be in the same mode as me. The value is maybe there, right, versus other spots. So we'll see. Got 4 more picks to line up, and we'll go from there. Cutoff tee for the one. Hey, this is worth the one possible lady. You know, there's no ladies watching these streams, Vicar. We know that much. Javonte, that was a guy I was hoping to get. I'm a Javonte fan. I was hoping to land him there. He is gone. So that is not happening. I'm going to move a guy up in my queue so I don't mess this up. And I got 3 picks, guys I like a lot. So as Kieran Williams goes, had to make consideration, but I actually bumped him down a little bit from where I would have other guys I have ahead of him. So now it's between 2 guys for me, really, at this stage. So we'll see what Team 7 does, who's got a mixed build like me, but he doesn't have the quarterback. He's got the tight end, which I don't have, running back, 2 receivers, and he can go in any different direction here. So this is a complete wild card pick. And let's see, the clock is a ticking. Round 5 in 21 minutes. These are the drafts I like. Quick, people decisive. Jeremiah Love, not my pick. I'm going to go with a guy who I like. And I'm not going to take a wide receiver because I think the value sits better right here with DeAndre Swift. So I'm going to put Swift with Henry and make this team a little bit different. But I like Swift a lot. I like that Bears offense. I think Mononga would be fine. He's going to play at some point, but Swift is just in a good position with a great coach. There goes Travis Etienne to the next team. So, now you're going to see running backs go, right? These guys, I would expect, look at this. We got 6 green. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 4 more green going at this point because these guys are all heavy receiver builds. The receivers are certainly not as sexy as you would hope, but there are some guys out there that people like, so this could go in a lot of directions. I'm just going to put some guys in my queue, so I'm ready for my pick. And let's see, David Montgomery, another guy I was thinking about at my spot. 26 out of your 30 were yellow. Yeah, this is pretty crazy, man. Look at this round. This is not even a receiver in round 5. This might be a first. If this thing goes through with no receivers, I think team 1 takes a receiver personally, but this is interesting where I don't know if any of you guys were following. There goes a receiver, so that breaks that up. But this is a big green round like no other. But hey, this is the prime time. Again, a little this is definitely different. A lot of left side yellow. Then you got the yellow pounding on the right side in rounds 3 and 4. Now we're getting green, yellow. But these are, you see guys taking a little bit longer to pick because I think there are a lot of decisions to be made at this point. There's a lot of interesting guys out there. So you're seeing some people really think about what to do. There goes Cam Scattaboo. Yeah, I agree with you, Jay, but team 3 broke that up, broke up the yellow. Yeah, so we got Nelson picking number 1. I don't put the board up. I didn't ask the guys for a redacted board. I did this last minute. I have a hard time thinking that we're hiding nuclear secrets in these drafts. So I'm really one of the guys that thinks people redacting names is, to be honest, stupid. You people pretty much who are big drafters are out there talking about it. I mean, I'm a big drafter in terms of volume, so I don't really give a shit if people know what I pick. And this fact, if you watch my other drafts, this is guys I typically don't take. So there goes Godwin. That's one guy I expected Nelson to take. He's a big fan of Godwin. I thought about Godwin at my spot, but I still, as much as Godwin's in a good spot with the Ibuka injury, he's still 30 years old, coming off major injury. He's had a lot of injury issues. He's not going to burn anybody. So, he's going to be a good target guy. But I like Godwin. I don't think he's God's gift to wide receivers at his age and his injury history. So, but still a good pick at this point. Nelson then hits up with two. That's a great build. But again, you expect that out of team one. He's just a master at this stuff. So he's got a very good team going. I'm coming up in 4 picks. I got a decision to make in mine. I mean, I can't really pass. I got only 2 wide receivers, which is certainly not the way you want to live in the NFFC. But hey, we're doing a little bit different today. Let me give him his PR. He's looking for. There you go, kiss ass. Hey, there you go. Well, throw respect out to the people, Mr. B. Jalen Warren. There was a debate on Jalen Warren today on the Empire. Dan standing on a hill for Rico Dowdle, who I like. I don't love. I think Jalen Warren is a very good football player. He'll play a ton, even if Dowdle plays. The Steelers fed 2 running backs just fine last year. Warren was really in there, a lot of key spots. But, guys, the days of one bell cow running back are limited. And that, whether you like Dowdle or like Warren, they're both going to play. They're both going to play plenty, right? That's pretty much what I think. Pittsburgh. So the running backs are now flying off the board as expected. So, I mean, this is just a run of green. And again, looking back, now Derrick Henry, yeah, maybe I should have took Waddle and pounded the running backs. I knew that. I just wanted the value of Derrick Henry. So my wide receiver 3, certainly not going to get anyone excited. I'm certainly not excited, but a guy in an offense that, we've talked about should be down by 40 points at halftime. I'll go with Michael Wilson at wide receiver 3 spot. I don't hate it. Modica's taking the night off. This was last minute. I literally put this on at 7:57. I texted Modica out of respect and said, hey, I'm coming on. Any interest? And Modica professionally declined that he's done for the day. So take that, Mr. B. All right. So my build is okay. I mean, it's, this is not maybe from a primetime perspective. I did it differently. We'll see, right? This is definitely weak at receiver with Wilson as your 3. Obviously, with Allen and running backs is good, but I got to really get some good value the rest of the way here because I took a different path. But hey, you know what? You can't draft the same look every single time. And I need to mix it up a little bit. So that's what I got going on here. And let's see what comes around next round because there's still plenty of good guys out there to be taken. But, being in the middle, guys come to you. You don't get the too close. That's why I really like we're picking great teams out of the 3 hole this year, partly because I think Jamar Chase is going to have a tremendous season. So it's just nice getting him and putting him with Burrow. I mean, if there's a duo to bet on, to me, that's the one offensively. If they stay on the field, Bengals should really cook, score a hell of a lot of points. Stribling in the 6. Stribling has steamed up. I mean, you just use a term that everybody likes, steam. And Stribling is steamed up, but, there's no one else really healthy on that team consistently. I think one thing Ben Albright said, if you saw him with us on Sunday, I asked him, what's up? Why the Niners have so many injuries? And he said they practice too hard, that Shanahan beats the shit out of them. And it's too much practice, too hard, and guys get banged up. So that was, the first time I've heard that explanation of the, abundance of injuries in San Francisco is, the fact that they practice them too hard. And I remember a guy coming to play for the Broncos last year, Greenlaw. He hated Denver. He said the practice was different. I forget specifically what he said, but he certainly talked about that, and he ran right back to the Niners after he was a bust for the Broncos on a top tier defense. He didn't play much, and then he was gone. I don't think he fit in the locker room, and he jettisoned back to San Francisco. He has just a hard time staying on the field, that guy. All right, so coming up in a couple of picks round. This is the tough round, 6 and 7, right, where you got decisions to make. Lamar goes off to Team 12, Quinshon Judkins. So Team 12, 3 receivers, 3 running backs, and Lamar. I'm just looking at the board here. So a lot of guys with 3 running backs, 2 running backs. It's an interesting board. I think Team 1's really done a good job, of course. Team 4, Price as your RB2. Team 3 with Warren as RB1. But when you go with Loveland and the wide receiver build, your RBs are going to be a little bit different when you make that move. But you're going to rely on Loveland smashing and taking wide receiver 4 instead of a running back. That's what I thought the value was. So it's hard to argue with what people do if they feel like they're making the right picks. There goes Josh Downs. So if Matt Modica's watching, he's happy with Josh Downs in the 7th round. That's kind of where he's been living. Not really dropping with the news of Keenan Allen jumping in. So again, definitely an interesting board. Kind of looking at who I want at this stage. I may surprise people with this next pick. And see what I'm going to do. Again, I'm going to mix it up a little bit. It was Jaden Reed, somebody I had in mind for my slot because clearly position of need. On this squad, the quarterbacks have fell, right? So taking Allen early was a decision. I wanted a little bit different, but there's great quarterbacks here, and it could be a bill that hurts me by not doing what I typically do, which is wait on a quarterback and grab other guys. But again, I think in these formats, it's good to have a little Josh Allen exposure in your portfolio. Guy just scores, so why not have him? Dan, there's just some sharp drafts here. I think there's some guys in here that are pros, right? So you're going to see good builds. Mine obviously a little bit different. So I am going to wait and see what falls to me here. Coming next. Guy next to me has got a balanced team, so he can go in any direction here. I'm going to be surprised to see a quarterback this tonight. So Michael Pittman. So Michael Pittman goes. So I'm up. Clearly, with the receiver room I have, I think that's the direction I need to go. Those couple of other guys I like. I think I'm going to go with the receiver here. One guy I've been drafting a lot is there. Another guy that is now the new darling. A lot of people are liking. I'm going to take a shot here on a little upside pick and go with Concepcion at 7. Again, it's been moving up. I don't have him at all on any team until tonight. And this is a build where I'm kind of swinging for the fences a little bit. So as much as I hate a Cleveland Brown, Matt gave me a good thesis on him today. I'll take a shot with him at that spot. Again, it could be a boom pick. Could see a lot of wide receiver runs. Could be a lot of bump passes, screen passes for that team. Yeah, I know, Chris. Good Lord, this is one I might want to pray to God something else happens because I've taken a lot of shots here. Blake Corum goes. I considered Corum there as my flex, but decided not to. Yeah, boy. Yeah, Chris, this isn't my favorite build. Maybe I'm going to blame this one on you for making me stream. You take the plug. Yeah, if I unplug my computer, will that reset the draft and give me something different? I still think I have some productive players. So that guys, Allen, Henry, Swift, JSN, Olave, they'll score. I need obviously Wilson and KC to do something. but there's still plenty of time to build depth on this squad. So I am not going to completely panic, but again, I did it differently here. No doubt about it. All right, so let's see where the rest of this draft falls. Receiver, listen, the receivers flew, right? So taking Henry and then the big yellow boom. When I took Allen, it was because I didn't love the receivers there. I just went with the best player versus taking a shot at Marvin Harrison and the other guys. So I just decided to go best player available. That's why I took Allen at that point. But then, you back yourself into a corner a little bit. I thought Swift at the point I took him was the best value, and then all the running backs went instead of taking Godwin. I like Swift's potential to score more. So that's where I decided to run. I'm up in 2 picks now. There's a couple of guys there. We'll see where team 5 goes, who's having a tremendous draft. He's got, typical build. He's doing 4 yellow, 3 green. Top tier quarterbacks are now pretty much not completely gone, but the good ones are going. And if he wants a quarterback now, might be the time, because only one team to the right of me has a quarterback. He goes with Kyle Pitts, not somebody. So I'm taking another guy I was considering at the same time I was taking KC, another guy who I've been drafting a lot, and some people love, some people, are wait and see, but I've been drafting a shitload of Matthew Golden. So I'm happy to get him, and hopefully between him and Concepcion, I got something of substance out of either one of those guys. So I am happy to see that there fall to me. Let's see where we go from here. But I'm happy to get that value. Jay Wimmers tells me to hit the showers. All right, Jay, well. There goes Diggs. Yeah. Chris, I see you. Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm getting some advice from from some of my good friends. So let's see here what we got. So Diggs, there goes Tony Pollard. There's a lot of mixed reviews on him and the Titans. I tell you one thing, I like Carnell Tate. I know he's drafted high, but boy, fucking Cam Ward looked awful the other day. I mean, you watch the quarterback show. He's like a good dude. My son is actually living in Tennessee now, working at the stadium, and Cam Ward, some guys have met a really good dude. But you got to play better, man. And there was reports in camp it was widely inaccurate. So, there's no guarantee that Titans offense is good. As much as people love Carnell Tate, he's a rookie, which I was a little bit of a tab on rookie discount. And secondly, that team needs to play better. Their offense has been shit. So their offensive line is not good. So, there's situations there that need to be monitored to see if Carnell Tate's really going to be worth where he's getting drafted. Little tight end run here. Fannin, Laporta, guys I was considering. Certainly, there goes R.J. Harvey as a Bronco fan I don't love. He's just a third down receiving back. He's never going to be running the ball. He couldn't run for shit last year. He's going to, he's not the guy that's going to run the ball. So you're getting a guy that's playing on third down. So I have no interest in R.J. Harvey personally this year. I don't think I have him once, and I'm a Bronco fan. There goes George Kittle, who people, again, his health looks better, right? So you're starting to see some health news out of him, Niner team that needs someone to throw to. So fluid situation, guys. These boards are fluid. These news is fluid. That's what I love about doing this. So this is my 3rd prime. I got a bunch more scheduled up until the GST, where I'm doing 2, I think, there, and a whole bunch in Vegas. So I think I'll be in for about 20 primes this year. Hopefully have a couple of wins in those 20 primes. Can't wait for the auctions. Got auction drafts in GST and in Vegas. I started getting my auction prep going today. To me, that's the really purest way to draft. I learned auctions in baseball. I've been drafting baseball teams since 1994 in auctions. And I just think you can, you're playing chess in auction drafts. These are good and hard, but auctions are a different level, and they're fun. I really enjoy them. And I just started getting into them in football the last couple of years. I've had some good success, and I love doing it. I can't wait to get into the auctions. So those of you who don't do auctions, I'd strongly suggest learning and trying, because you can build your own team. I mean, it's not that simple, but certainly have a little bit more independence on how you want to do things. And you learn the prices, you learn the market. It's just like, if you're buying investments, learn the market price and pay it. Don't overpay it, and look for value and build your team. So I advocate auctions. I think they're great. All right, my turn is coming. We are in round. We are in the 9th round, and considering I have Josh Allen, I think it's time to add his tight end Dalton Kincaid to this team. So I think this team's kind of coming together a little bit decently here. That's with Josh to add Dalton Kincaid, who I like a lot. I think he's the best tight end available by far. Some good tight ends I like still, but I thought he was head and shoulders tight end value right now. So I'm glad that fell to me. So that's good. Billy, yeah, tonight 150. One night, yeah, Billy. I got to figure that out. Maybe next week. This week's kind of catching up on me, but yeah, we got to do one with Chris and do a 150 auction. So let's text on that and figure out a night that works for the three of us. We can stream it. It'll be fun, just to kind of get the rep in and talk through the strategy. We're big auction players, and Billy's great, and Chris is great at auctions. These guys are some of the best. I saw Chris Eibel get his annual podcast where he talked about his auction strategies. He's obviously one of the best out there as well. Okay, so we are steaming through round 9. After I started out with the running back and Allen, I hit 3 receivers. I like that depth now a little bit better. Getting Kincaid was good. So I think my team has come together a little bit better. Obviously, I got big risk at the flex with KC and then Golden. One of those hits, I'm in good shape. Yeah, Chris, I should have won the super auction last year. No, don't fucking remind me. That was a tough loss, man. That one I wanted, my friend. Not gonna lie, and I'm not as crazy as some of the other people, but man, I wanted that super auction. It was right there for me, and Lamar Jackson fucking stuck it right to me, and I lost. And I think I had Burrow on that team on the bench. I picked him up when he got hurt, and I should have played him, and I would have won. But life isn't about coulda, shouldas, or wouldas. All right, so team 1 adds Jaden Higgins and Dallas Goedert, tight end 1, which in round 10 is good. There goes Jaden Daniels and the very interesting Washington Commanders this year. I think that team can go in a lot of directions. They could be good, or they could be a complete shit show. I'm not 100% sold on what's going on in Washington. I don't know if there's something with Daniels. I think Dan Campbell's a good leader, but I don't know. He doesn't lead teams good too long. So that's a team worth monitoring to see how they come together. And they added Diggs, who's not exactly a Boy Scout, to that locker room as well. So I'm curious to see what transpires in Washington this year. Yeah, Billy, he did screw a lot of players, Lamar Jackson. But, this could be a big year for Lamar. It's hard to get off a guy as talented as him. He's got, I think he was a big reason why Harbaugh's gone. And they got, Declan Doyle in there, new coach. People like the coach a lot. Guy who coached Chargers defense. I think he's a, good culture guy. I guess I've become friends with John Gordon, who speaks to a lot of the coaches and teams about culture. And, it's like running a business. Like a sports franchise is a business. It's not a fantasy football locker room. These guys are running a business about, the medical staff, what they do for the players. There's a lot that goes on, right? So I'm up. And, despite having, only 2 running backs, I think I still want to add to my wide receiver room here because of the risks I took versus a running back. There's a couple of running backs I do like, but I think I'll get one of them on the way back. So I'm going to add to my wide receiver room and take wide receiver 2 in LA and Trey Harris, who I've been drafting a lot. So now it gives me a little bit more depth. And if one of these guys steps up, I got myself, a good wide receiver crew now versus what it started out with. So there are some running backs I do like, which hopefully one of them comes back to me. There goes some quarterbacks, Dak and Herbert. Almost up to 100 viewers somehow. I don't know how that happened, but thanks for everyone who's watching. commenting and joining. I see the text and Modica is screaming at somebody. All right, so this is coming along. Looking at some of the teams real quick. Again, I'm not going to dive into it. Team 1, obviously, great job. Team 5, Trevor Lawrence in 10th round, I love. I mean, here comes a quarterback run, guys. So you got Team 9, Jalen Hurts. So 5 quarterbacks here in round 10. So hopefully that equates to some value for me coming back the other side for some positions that I'd like to add to. But time will tell how this round goes. So let's see. We got a lot of picks left for me. I think we're looking at about 10 picks. So still some good quarterback 2s out there. I'm not, when I got a guy like Josh Allen, I'm not really looking to draft a quarterback anytime soon to back him up. When you invest a pick like I did in Josh Allen, you're all in. So I'm going to let that ride a little bit and probably not go quarterback. Jacoby Myers, who my friend Matt Modica says he hates. Matt Modica on a rampage on Jacoby Myers, like he hit on his wife or something, the way he was trashing this guy today. Because we had Parker Washington, and I thought it might not be a bad kind of depth guy, and Matt was adamant about making sure that guy sees no part in our organization. So let's see where we go from here. Team 11, taking a little bit of time here, thinking through. These are tough picks, right? You got important decisions to make. You got to draft good guys. You're still in round 10. You need, whether this is QB1 for Team 11. So he's going with Goff at that spot. By the way, we'll be back, Maddie and I, Sunday night, 10 o'clock. Oh, we're doing 2 more live stream OCs. I'm sorry, 1 OC this Sunday coming. And then on the 31st, I think that's what it is, the last Sunday, we're going to do a primetime. Maddie and I are going to split a primetime together, and we are going to draft it on Sunday night. So that will be I think it is the 31st. And then we're done streaming. And then our weekly show will be coming out. We'll be announcing that soon, putting that together. Stevie G should be one of my main wingmen on that one. So trust me, we have fun content for our weekly show, and hopefully we'll have some of our buddies joining, and we'll do some cool content during the season. Something new. Trying to squeeze that in and actually trying to run a company at the same time. Yeah, breaking news. I'm not going to announce it fully yet. I'm going to do a big launch on that, Chris, on the concept that I hatched a couple of months ago, and we're going to make it happen. All right, Tyler Algier, that's a guy I was thinking about, obviously, with the opportunity potentially presented to him. He is now moving up in the draft, so he goes at the end of round 11. Modica's not out of his yet. Well, I don't know if he has an exclusive with the Empire, Chris. So I don't, at last check, I don't know. Your lawyers can call me, Chris. You know where to find me. Sure, you got a great lawyer. Maybe you can have Charlie Clark call me too and talk about your investments. All right, so some of the running backs I was eyeing are goners. So Keaton Mitchell, who I have a hell of a lot of action on this year, is gone. Algier, who's now moving into the conversation of should you draft him or not. Put that behind the paywall, Billy. Yeah, I got to tell you, a lot of advisors tonight. I got lawyers threatening me. Billy is one of the secret comedy writers that we employ. Billy is great content and humor. So Billy, you're not on any of these shows, Billy. You might want to take part, but this is gonna be a little saucy. This weekly show. You certainly are more than invited. All right, so I'm up. Marshawn Lloyd, I thought about there. Wasn't my top choice. I'm going to go with a guy I think is going to see some looks in Jacksonville and take Chris Rodriguez to add to my running back room. I think Tootin. I like Tootin a lot. I think Liam Cohen has history with Rodriguez. Chris, you and I were all over Rodriguez last year on our team, and I had him on every freaking team. He, you would think he was going to break through, then he would get hurt, but he still had 6 touchdowns last year. Jacksonville should score a lot. Tootin has never had a full load. So I think Rodriguez will see the field. And why not have him as wide receiver? Then, I thought about Jonah Coleman. Obviously, I think he wow. I don't know, Billy, if you guys can see the comments. I'm assuming you all can, but you're now being offered more money, Billy. So consider I offered you zero. The fact that Chris is offering you any dollars would be more. Billy. Billy's tough. Billy actually has an education job, teaches kids. So he's tough for during the week. He gets up real early, so it's hard if you get Billy Wasowski on one of your weekly shows, you've made a big score because he doesn't make himself available. He's got a lot of fab to do, a lot of teams to run. So Billy knows where his priority is. When Billy retires, he might be all over the streams and stuff, but time will tell once Billy wraps up his teaching career. All right, a couple of picks, round 11. There's a lot of different things to do here. I'm going to focus a little bit here to see what kind of value I want to grab, because these are important depth picks for me with the build that I have. All right, there goes Naylor, a guy who I like. I've been taking a little bit of Naylor. I don't think he's a bad ad. There's nobody else on that team, quite frankly, that is really of value. I had a tough decision here. 4 picks. We'll see what falls to me. Sousa, wow. So Billy retired, and Sousa, low volume players. Yeah, a lot going on here in the chat time. The chat is booming. Oh, my friend Josh Bolin. Thanks, Josh, coming in last minute. Billy, when he retires, the Sousa and the Greek will be considered. So a lot of chit chat tonight here. There was a guy I was going to take. So good pick there, Tank Bigsby. So he does not make it to me. Team 3 takes him. So that idea goes out the window. Yeah, I think I know which way I'm going to go here. But let's see. Let's see what the world provides us in this next pick. Yeah. So thanks everyone watching tonight. Never did a solo before. Not easy doing a solo. It's kind of more fun when you got your cohort. Keenan Allen finding his way into round 12 now firmly after him signing the 1-year, $8-point-something million deal to be a poor man's Michael Pittman in Indianapolis. So Keenan Allen's still going, still making $8 million a year and missed camp and OTAs and all that bullshit. That's what a smart veteran does. Gets his big. All right, Jacoby Lane, guy I thought about at my spot. We're here around 12. And there's a guy I really like. The people who watch what I do know who I'm talking about, but there's other guys here I like too as well. So you know what? I'm going to take him just because I need if I don't love Pat Bryant straight away. I think if Sutton gets hurt or Waddle gets hurt, Pat Bryant will be in a great position. I've been talking about him for a long time. But that's more of a hedge pick. Again, with my wide receiver room, I need bullets in my pocket. Hopefully somebody pops so I can have something feasible. So it's kind of a different way to put a wide receiver room together. But, I love Pat Bryant. Albright talked about him. So did Ryan Edwards. Having those Bronco guys on. They host. They're not beat reporters, by the way. For everybody thinking they're not, they host radio shows. And they're very connected to the team. They actually broadcast out of the Broncos headquarters. So they're pretty plugged in. So yeah, thanks, Chris. Anytime you can hit a 7th, yeah, I appreciate that, Chris. This is, Vicar, you owe me something. I mean, I did this for you, and all you've done is torch me the entire entire stream. So I really got to question my choices in life, that I did this because my friend said, oh, yeah, boy, put a draft on. I actually offered Chris to partner with me, and he turned me down because he wanted to get into this tonight. But I think he was one of those last minute clicks and could not get in. And I offered him an olive branch, and all it's turned into is as I like to say, is elephant shit on me tonight, but I'm used to that. All right. Let's looking down at the rest of the availability. Tough love makes me strong. You're right, Chris. I've learned how to draft better this summer. Even you've reluctantly admitted that maybe this draft doesn't indicate that, but I think I've learned the tricks. This was a different. Again, I went in here with a different mindset. So this was not something that I just pulled out of my ass. When I saw Henry fall, I'd say, hey, why not get a good running back? I like Derrick Henry still. Good offense, and adding Josh Allen. Just doing it different. So we'll see how it turns out. And I added a lot of receiver depth, right? Guys I like a lot, like Harris and Golden. So I'm happy with that, and we'll see how this thing turns out in the end. Time will tell. That's why we do this, man. We love it. Somebody be right, somebody be wrong. You need to have skill and luck and follow your teams. I've been working with a lot of AI lately. I do a lot of AI for work. I've been using it for years, and trying to figure out a way for it to help me. It's tough. I actually asked Greg today, NFFC, if we can export rosters easily. He said no, but I think in the future they need the ability to just dump data, so you can take data and manipulate it in AI and other things. So I told him I'd be happy to help him. I obviously do a lot of this for what I do for a living, and the AI can help you, but you have to know how to inquire it. You have to know how to manipulate the queries and whatnot. So if you guys do not use it, you should try it. But it's not simple to figure out exactly what to do. I mean, you could take spreadsheets and do cool sorts, but to help you in season, I think the NFFC, as their technology evolves, has to be better with moving data in and out of the platform. Because I think that's weak right now, if you want my opinion. But that's how things evolve. Right? NFFC's been growing. I love Greg. That's the only format I play in is this. I know people play in other ones, but I love this. I love the people in this community, guys. So many nice people we've met over the years. I've gotten more into it, going to Vegas and stuff. So I love this stuff, and everybody's pretty cool. Even all the shit flying across Twitter, it's fun. I mean, to me, it's fun, guys. You can make fun of me all I want. I really don't give a shit. I don't get offended. I think just good old fashioned trash talking. So that's what I love about this stuff. So if you want to shit on my teams, there goes my boy, Mike Washington Jr., who I was waiting to pick. All right, so he's gone. A couple of backs here. I think I'm going to go with a little exposure to I like the way this kid looked. If Kenny Walker gets hurt, Emmett Johnson could be in a good spot, right? So I don't have much exposure to him, so why not add him to the running back room? Kenny Walker, I like. He's a good player. Matty loves him. I mean, he's also been dinged up a little bit in his career, so I don't mind putting Emmett Johnson on the back of my roster and seeing what. I don't think Chris will ever scrap that, Billy. This guy, I mean, he's just learned how to get Wi-Fi on an airplane. I don't think he's using AI anytime soon. And if I won't even say the conversation Vakar and I had, I think it was Friday, which was absolutely hysterical, about his computer experiences, was just legendary. I couldn't even make it up. It was so funny. But I don't think Chris will have AI in his life anytime soon. But it's an amazing tool, right? I mean, those of you who don't use it, it's the way of the future in a lot of ways. It's interesting how it comes into regulation. Not to bore you guys with my banking, as much as I'm a sports nerd, I'm a banking nerd. But there is just amazing things that I've seen done. Well, Chris, I didn't say what happened, Chris. So it is sacred. I didn't mention what happened. I just said we had a funny conversation about something with computers. That's it. So it is sacred because I didn't tell the story. The story is hysterical, but I won't say it because, that was you and I, and it's so freaking funny though. what Chris and I spoke about the other day. Anyhow, getting back to business here. More importantly, we are in round 13, which is 58 minutes, so an hour in. Drafts taking. It's going to slow down a little bit as things have evolved. Looking at my team, I got running back, receiver pounding away. I'm not backing up tight end or not backing up quarterback as of yet. Might want to consider it at some point, right? Because just might be the prudent thing to do. But let's see how things fall. Yeah, Billy's still paper and pencil till I see. Billy, I think I saw you on the tag team crossing a lot of names out. You and Miles were like lap dancing each other on that stream, and I saw you crossing out and Miles jumping in the back there. I tried to watch all of the streams. I didn't watch every minute of every one of them, but I did glance at all of them, and everybody did a cool job. It was really that was a lot of fun. Kudos to Josh and Dan, the Cincy boys, putting that together. Hopefully, we're not eliminated. Matt and I's team, I mean, talk about it. I love it. I don't love it. We got some, we need some things to happen. We're heavy Jaguars in that build, but I think it's interesting. I think it was Baker sometimes. I was thinking about grabbing. I'll hold off on a backup quarterback at this point, and I want to keep feeding the running back room on this squad a little bit, and take a guy may have a role in Dallas with Jadon Blue. Yeah, Nate, I see what you're saying. I thought about it. That doesn't mean I need to. I hear you though. It's not a bad idea, but didn't feel compelled to jump at it personally. But I get it. Nate's my favorite watcher. He's always in our streams and saying nice things. So Nate, you're a good balance to Vaccaro, who's just taking the shit sandwich on me like usual. So thanks for we hit over 100 viewers tonight. I don't know how the hell that happened, but thank you everyone who's tuning in. I don't know who the hell you are, but appreciate you. If you're in the chat, say hello. Follow me on Twitter. You see Paul Spiteri 71. A lot more Twitter followers now since I've been doing this, which is pretty cool. So thank you all. Everybody who follows me, I follow them back, but I still have a small following, obviously. But I love following stuff, and even though there's way too much info out there, it's cool to interact with some of you guys. Are fun. So let's see where we go next. But yeah, I like this. I think I built the depth out on this team good after a interesting start. So I'm happy with the depth. Now let's see which way we go with this squad of mine. I'm going to put some guys up and see where we go. Anyone else want to shit on my build? Feel free to comment. Talk about drafts, guys you like. I usually write some notes down before we stream. I put a lot of the topics for Matt and I stuff in the banners, and I post them up. I like when we stream to have discussion flowing. I don't like downtime. I think it's important to think about what you're going to talk about. Not that we're professionals, but it just comes off better, I think. So doing this, not having that, it's a little bit different for me. But it's what we try to do is think about topics and put them up. And I think our streams have flowed pretty good for the most part. We've got a lot of good compliments. Those of you who've sent us texts and messages on Twitter, appreciate it. All right, Malik Washington for the high-powered Miami Dolphins offense going. I mean, that should be a shit show of colossal proportions this year. I do a couple of Circus Survivors, and one of my entries may have the Raiders opening day. What do you guys think of that? Raiders, Dolphins. If you're ever going to use the Raiders, it's opening day. Even though it's risky, but I think that could be a play because you're not going to get to use the Raiders much. Everybody and their mother will be taking the Chargers because they're playing the Cardinals. But you got to, Survivor, which is very tough. I think the furthest I ever made was like week 8 or 9. And last year I lost on that goddamn dropped touchdown run in Arizona, whatever the hell that guy's name was. You guys know what I'm talking about. That stupid running back that fucking dropped the ball before he ran into the end zone like an idiot. The DeMarcado, I think it was him. And they lost to the Titans, and I had Arizona as my pick. I was driving home from the Bronco-Eagle game. I was in DeMarcado the next day. I was right, and I was coming home, but the Broncos came back, beat the Eagles. I went with my nephew, a great time, big win for the Broncos. I'm sitting in traffic in that cesspool called Staten Island, and I had the game on my phone, like to the side, and oh my God, I almost drove off the road. And that's not a place you want to really spend a lot of time in Staten Island. If you haven't been in New York, you can skip that borough. Not much happening. Yeah, Chris, you're right. It was cursed. That was like, yeah, I can't have nice things. Fucking God, drops the time of day. And you would think if that happens again this year, man, you imagine. Listen, these guys are young. They're fucking jacked up. I mean, they do stupid shit. These are 20-year-olds. It's easy for us to sit here and say we wouldn't do it, but yeah. All right. So it came back to me, Nate, and I'm going to do it this time. I'll back up Josh with Tyler Shuck, who I thought about. Yeah, I am shitting on your borough, Chris. I know it's obviously by design, but I don't know how you stay in Staten Island, Chris. I mean, you got plenty of money. You got, you're getting engaged. I mean, you're going to raise your kids in Staten Island. I mean, how does that work? It's like the forgotten borough in New York. Kind of just added it, I guess. I guess Jersey didn't want it, and they said, hey, New York, you want to take Staten Island? Put all your garbage there. Those who don't know Staten Island, it was the where all of New York City's garbage went. Still clearly some looming. They called the Verrazano Bridge the Guinea Gangplank. So all the Italians jumped from Brooklyn to Staten Island. Fun fact, Chris, my parents looked at moving to Staten Island. My dad had a good friend. My dad was an elevator mechanic, and we looked at houses in Staten Island. I was almost there with you, but elected to stay in Queens, thankfully. All right. All right, so I got my backup, Tyler Shuck. To back up, Josh would correlated with Olave. Josh is only correlated with Dalton Kincaid, but that's fine. Like I said, this wasn't a build to stack for sure, but let's see what we can do for more depth. Hi, Chris. See, this is what you get, Chris. This was your doing tonight. Yeah, you were responsible. 125 people watching, Chris, because we did this, right? So, more viewers than I didn't think anyone was going to watch it, quite frankly. And your comedy is on full display tonight, giving you all the pub. I would have invited you on, but Lord knows what your camera face looks like right now. All right. We are steaming into round 16. I go a lot of different directions here. I think there's one thing I want to do. If it comes to me, may not. We'll see. Jerry Judy. Damn you, Jerry Judy, going to team 2. To another good guy, Mr. Satinoff. Really good dude. Picking Jerry Judy. I don't know and Dylan Sampson. I don't know if you're watching, Dan, but it's a lot of Brown. Malik Willis. All right, Chris, thanks. Appreciate it. Firearms Finest. I'll be there tomorrow through the weekend. Our Sunday night, I'll be streaming from Fire Island in my summer home. All right. We are coming up on the 16th. So I'll finish this. Not going to go back through. Guys, thanks for watching. Anybody got any comments, questions? I mean, I really can answer any questions. Everybody knows as much about this shit as I do. Who's probably watching, but another fun night. Drafting, prime time, different look. I might love this team, might hate it. Leaning more towards to give myself an honest grade. Yeah, Marty, you heard me talk about McGowan, the Irishman. I didn't know what this guy looks like, and apparently he is far from Irish. as I was educated by. Oh, that was on the Nelson stream. Me, Nelson, and Matt. That was a fun. Me, Nelson, and Matt did Friday night. I had a blast. Nelson's obviously awesome. We had a really good draft, good time. Us all picking. That was really cool. I'm always good for a couple of comments, and I said, "Oh, was this guy a real Irishman?" And Nelson said, "No, he's the actual opposite." So now I know. I still haven't looked him up, Marty, what he looks like, but I do have to remind myself to do that. Darnell Mooney, who I'm surprised is still hanging around, but there he goes. Thank you, Kokwando. I don't know your name, but I've seen you there. That stream was pretty good. I enjoyed that. That was a really good time. Me, Matty, and Nelson were a good bunch. I had a lot of fun with that. That was one of my favorite ones this summer. Had a lot of good ones. Mike Edelman was good. I mean, Chris was us. We've had Billy in the very beginning was on. Duke on. The Greek made an appearance. And Greek likes to do other shows. He doesn't give me the spots to feed other streams. All right, so this is a fun pick for me, and I was hoping my boys would sit there. The team that has led the NFL in sacks the last 2 years may break the sack record this year. Your Denver Broncos. Love our defense is excellent. The Denver Broncos defense is fucking nasty. And I love having them. They have a tough schedule. First 6 weeks are brutal for my Denver Broncos, but that defense just plays well everywhere they go. So I'm happy to get them. I usually wait on defense. I'm not a big guy bumping them up, but sometimes I will. In that case, I think they were just nice value for me sitting there. So why not take my boys and root for them? They could give the Chiefs a real hard time. I think the Broncos getting 3 points opening night is a steal. I'm out on the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are not going to be that good. Ben Albright agree with me. Some people differ. I think Chris, who's maybe gone now, agree with me. I don't think Pat Mahomes is unbelievable. I'm the first ballot Hall of Fame, one of the best ever. I just think that team's transitioning a little bit, even though it's in Arrowhead or whatever they call it now. It's early in the season. Broncos have been, since Sean Payton took over the Broncos, they've handled the Chiefs. Right. Bottom line, they lost a stupid game. They had a kick block 2 years ago, beat them last year. The second game, the Chiefs had that quarterback who looked like he was an Uber driver that decided to make a quarterback for a couple of games. But Broncos have handled the Chiefs. I think the Broncos beat them. Forget about covering. They outright beat them on opening night. I'll be back from Vegas. Flying back that Monday. I think I land at 3:30, get home. My daughter may have a volleyball game and then get in position to watch opening night. I'll be in Vegas. I'll be watching the games at Westgate. I got a booth. If anyone wants to stop by, I know the NFFC crew watches it in the auditorium. I'll be there. I got a 10-person booth with those who don't know, my brother goes out with me, my nephews, and my son's coming this year for the first time. So it's a family trip we make every year to come out. It's for my brother who passed away in honor of him. And we will be at the Westgate. Got a 10-person booth. Stop by, say hello. Love to see you guys. We'll be watching opening day there, seeing how our guys perform, how our bets do. Had a good opening Sunday last year in Vegas. It was good. It helped me fund a lot of this activity that I'm doing this year. All right, so let me move the board up a little bit. I know somebody may say that. So we do that. We have a stoppage that somebody wanted the Patriots defense instead of, I think it was, Paul, what are you watching Sunday night? Probably after Josh, I'm done with the what do you call the Westgate. I should go back. I'm staying at the Aria. I go back to the Aria and we go to Din Tai Fung. I need a little dumplings there. So I won't go to Circus Sunday night. I'll stay at the Aria. It's the last night, drunk for the 3 nights prior, drafting like crazy. I just chill out, gamble a little bit more, and then I got to get up at like 4 in the morning for my early flight home. So yeah, that Dallas Giant game, I'm usually burnt by that point, or that Sunday night game. I think last year I watched it in the bar of the Aria where I like to smoke my cigars. It's a nice bar right there in the middle of the Aria floor. I fire up a good stove every night, meet people, bullshit. It's a lot of fun. But my brother and nephews love the Aria, so I usually stay there. Pistol Pete, my boy. All right, Pete. Thanks for watching. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I think it's the first time, Pete, that the Raiders are home in years when we're there. So it's funny, if they would have played the Broncos at home, I would have had a decision to make because I usually see the Broncos once in Denver and once on the road every year, and I've never been to that stadium. One day I want to go see the Broncos play them, but they are not, and that's pretty cool to see that, Pete. So it'd be good to meet you out there in Vegas. I'm assuming you're coming for the drafts. All right, so we are deep into this draft. I need to add a little. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm hearing good reports on AJ Barner. I'm going to free look for him as well. So I like AJ Barner at this point. It's good value. Again, we're talking the 17th round, backup tight end. I'm not going to, give myself a ticker tape parade for that pick, but I just kind of like the value at this point and what I've been reading about him. So I don't mind smashing him there. Receivers are pretty much dead on arrival. There's a couple of guys. Let me just queue up that I've been drafting and I like. So still plenty of guys out there. Build some more depth on this squad. Chargers defense, people love, especially because they're playing the woebegone Cardinals. But that's a game where if the Chargers are whipping the shit out of them, they may sit back and the Cardinals can score some garbage points at the end, right? So that could change things. And Jacoby Brissett doesn't usually turn the ball over. I know when you're drafting defenses in these leagues, you're looking for big plays, right? Sacks, picks, touchdowns. Jacoby Brissett typically doesn't, it's not a turnover machine. If he gets hurt and they put Gardner Minshew in there, then Lord knows what the hell happened. But I think that could be an interesting, backdoor cover type of game too, or backdoor points, because Chargers may just obliterate them early and sit back and watch the Cardinals move the ball on them, which is what we've been talking about a lot. A Cardinal situation is terrible, but they got to throw the ball. There's Devon Vele, Bronco legend, going to Nelson. He's been drafting now with the injury to Jordan Tyson, who, the wide range of outcomes on Jordan Tyson could be out for 4 weeks, 9 weeks. I had one share of Tyson all summer, so I haven't been in on him. I know he's great in terms of the pub, but the guy, long injury history in college, very long injury history. So you got to wonder a little bit about, guys like that's durability, and it has not been good. So now he's got the problems already. So it could be dynamic talent. You got to hope the kid can stay on the field and produce, because he certainly. There goes a Texans kicker. Was one I was considering, Kaimi Fairbairn, who I love. He's got a bomb of a leg, and that coach loves to kick field goals. That's another team. And very, very interesting. Fantasy sexy, no. Collins Montgomery, but you hear rumors that Stroud's getting better. I mean, it couldn't be any worse. After this first year, they figured him out. But they added some reinforcements on the line. The defense is great. The division is winnable. So that's an interesting team. They got Buffalo opening. They talk about a couple of really good games, and on opening day, and a couple of tight ones in terms of spread. The spreads are tight on most of the games. But that Buffalo Texans game, what a great freaking matchup that's going to be right out of the chute. You got Packers, Vikings, Eagles, Commanders. So many good games. All right, so I'm up. Let me just see here. I'm going to throw another running back on the roster. To all my friends out there who, I'm going to take him. I'm going to go with Ollie Gordon. And if HN gets her, Ollie Gordon be in a position to play. I mean, again, that's just a dart throw pick. But he is, I think, the top option to back up HN. But again, Lord knows what will happen on that team. That team is another dumpster fire. All right, so TJ Hawkinson going in round 18. I'm up soon. I got a reserve and a kicker left on my squad. So let me just get ready for that and see what happens for me. At this pick, a couple of guys I like. I'm just going to pop in the queue and see who falls to me. But again, this has been cool. 150 watchers. Everybody watch. Thank you. I just threw this up last minute. Appreciate the support. For me and Maddie, we've been doing these all summer. It's just something that I just started to do. I had a StreamYard sub for work. I do content for work too on LinkedIn, and just said, hey, it'd be cool to throw up a stream. And me, Billy, and Maddie did the first one, and then we kept doing them, and people seemed to like them. And then we've just been doing them consistently. It's a lot of fun. It's like drafting with your buddies. We're all over the country. Rather than draft alone, you draft with your friends and you're talking about it. I mean, technology has allowed this. It's awesome. I think it's fun to watch. I like watching everybody out there too, your stuff. So I try to do as much as I can. As much. Thanks, Josh, for streaming. Yeah, I hope people like it. I mean, I just did this, for people to see different boards, see a primetime board, interact with my friends out there in the universe. You guys are all awesome dudes. Love seeing the pictures of you guys, your families, and what you're doing with fantasy. It's all cool stuff, man. And shout out to my son Matt's birthday today. 22 years old, my boy Matty will be joining me in Vegas for his first trip. Now that he's graduated, he's out of college, turned 21, now at 22. And he'll be joining me out there. He can't wait to meet some of the dudes and see the drafts. And I made him a Bronco fan in New York. Somehow, some way he fell in line, my boy, and is a Bronco fan. Yeah, with the prep has started, Jeff, for the in-season show. Not DFS though. It's not a DFS show. It's in season for what we do here. But we'll talk about betting a little bit, lines and stuff like that. But it's mostly going to be about fantasy, and it's going to be a cool theme, and the theme that I have set up. You will be expecting that from us. Matty Ice, happy birthday! Thank you, Pete. I'll let him know that. My boy, my brother, rest in peace, used to call my son Matty Ice. All right, we are around 19, 4 picks away. I got a kicker to take. One kicker I like at this point. Cooper Kupp, free look. Kobe Parkinson, free look. I like that free look. Why not? All right, and there goes Jacoby Brissett, auto picked. I like that. I'm going to go with the kicker who I love. The Seahawks kicker Myers is a monster. Guy kicks from fucking all over the field. Good accuracy, good offense. One thing Chris and I were talking about today, he was a little skeptical on the Seahawks offense, and I took a different opinion. I think the Seahawks offense is going to be good. I think that's a well-coached team. McDonald knows how to run an organization, and my friend John Gordon knows him well and said that guy's got his shit together. Really good leader. And that team is all marching in the right direction, which matters, guys. You're playing football of any sport, right? You not like baseball. You have like malcontents running around, like Juan Soto. I can't stand. And the culture is different. Where in football, you got to be together. You have guys fighting together, pushing in the right direction, covering each other up. So the culture even as a Bronco fan, the Broncos were shit for years, partly because the ownership was shit after Pat Bowlen died. When the Walmart money came in, they reset the culture, got Payton in there. George Payton is the GM. They redid the medical staff, and the Broncos have had nothing but success since. So all that stuff matters, right? That's why the Cardinals owner is apparently a schmuck. People can't stand him. He's apparently doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And you see the results. Even the Mets, right? Steve Cohen, smart guy, billionaire, doesn't mean he can run a baseball team because he's absolutely not done the right thing with the Mets. So all that matters when you're looking at football success as well. You need the right culture, right organization, right people running it, and bring the right people in, right? You want to bring, players and personnel and, coaching personnel that fucks up your culture, because it will hurt your ability to be successful. And that goes for any business. I'm lucky to run my own business, and I only hire people that either I know or people that are in the industry that are recommended to me. And that's how I keep my business small and effective. All right, my last pick coming up. I'm going to go with, let's see, the Hillshine boys take, and then I'll make my decision. That'll be it. We'll be done again. Thank you. Finishing at 166 people. Pretty cool. Again, appreciate you all watching, supporting us. Follow me on Twitter, YouTube page, subscribing. And I'm not doing this for everything. It's just you get more options when there's more people. So I'm going to go Jeremy Bernard, who flashed a little bit opening day. high draft pick of the Steelers. And, so Rodgers may take a liking to the kid. So why not throw him in round 20? And then if he sucks, just nuke him. All right. So this is just wrapping up, guys. I'm going to close off. If anyone has any comments, I can hang around for a minute. But I doubt there goes Fernando Mendoza, who will be playing this year. Probably in the first few weeks. I don't think Kirk Cousins is long. He takes one hit. He's done. Mendoza looked really good. If you watch the preseason game, I think you pay attention to the rookies. See what the rookies are doing. Mendoza looked very competent out there. He threw some really nice balls in tight windows. And I don't care if he's playing against backups, still got to thread the needle. He threw some beautiful passes. Looked really poised. Didn't get too bad of a happy feet. Sometimes he looked a little when the pressure was coming down. But man, that kid looks like he can play. And much as I hate the Raiders, they're on the right track. Good coach. Got your franchise quarterback most likely. They love Washington. They got Genty. They need receivers, right? So for the Raiders next year, if they finish high, low in the standings and high in the draft, you imagine if Smith from Ohio State ends up there, and that would be some pick with Mendoza. So the Raiders' fortunes could flip switch. I think Mendoza over under 2,400 yards. I'd say over, Pete. I think he's going to play. I don't think he's going to be long. There was rumors that if I follow guy who's one of the top, very close to the owner, and he actually out in LA now. He covers the Chargers and the Raiders, or the Rams and the Raiders, something like that. And he's been saying that it's not out of the realm of possibility Mendoza starts opening day. I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't think it's going to be long. Kirk Cousins, you might get a little flash from him, but as once you have one of those Kirk Cousins games where the pressure's too much and decisions, come in and he gets hit, I don't think it'll be long before we see Fernando Mendoza in there. I'd be shocked if he's not in by week 6 or 7, maybe even sooner, but we'll see. Raiders have an interesting schedule. They have a winnable opening day. I think they got some tough games and then it lightens up, but they have they're in a division where they're the worst team. They could easily lose 6 games in a division to the competition, and then they got some other tough draws as well. So we'll see what happens to the Raiders, but I think you'll see Mendoza sooner than later. All right, so that's the board. Everyone, I'll leave it up for a second. Anyone still got 180 people watching, so I'll leave up the board for a second. Anyone wants to look at what we have here, real quick. Very, very yellow draft in the first 4 rounds. I went a different route tonight. I thought the value in Henry. I always start with receivers, so I wanted to do something different. Josh Allen was, for me, the pick that I didn't love the receivers. I don't love Adams. I have him. I don't love Evans, even though I needed a receiver. Ibuka, I would have loved. I'm really worried about Ibuka's injury. It really scares the shit out of me. I have a lot of Ibuka in the OC, so I kind of went off him. I took him in my first Primetime. So that was before, you saw him with a freaking boot on. And then, I have Thomas and Harrison. These are guys I don't love. So I said, let me take the best player and get a little Josh Allen exposure. That was the logic. I love DeAndre Swift, who's a guy I was hoping to get. So I went a little bit different, and then I, went heavy with the receivers, getting some up shots. I mean, I like Michael Wilson. I don't love him as my third. I would prefer him in the flex, to be frank. And then I took the sexy Casey Concepcion. I don't really have him. It's early for him. He's not going to last long. People like him now. I mean, he obviously showed a lot of talent on a very interesting team. I love the Browns, but again, I thought of guys I don't have. I want to mix it up a little bit. And I almost took Golden, who I took in the following round, who I like a lot. And I've been drafting Golden quite a bit. I think the Packers offense is going to be a little bit better this year, throwing the ball. Their defense really isn't very good. And Parsons is out for a while, so I think Green Bay will be in some shootouts. Dalton Kincaid felt nice for me with Josh Allen, right, to have that little hookup. And then I went Trey Harris. I've been drafting a lot. And QJ seems fine, by the way. Those who, were already jumping off the cliff because Quentin Johnson got hurt. He's fine from what I read. But I like Trey Harris anyway on that team. Remember, McConkey also gets dinged up a lot, right? I think McConkey's in a good offense now, but he is super small, takes a lot of beatings, and very injury prone, in my opinion, at least with his build. So Trey Harris has a potential to be on a very good offense and play a lot. So I like that for me. Obviously, I've been drafting a lot of Pat Bryant. Those of you who watched us know. And then Chris Rodriguez, Emma Johnston, Jaden Blue just added some running backs to the bench. They went with Chuck to back up Josh, the Denver defense, and then Barner and some other guys. So again, I wouldn't say my favorite build. There's some really good teams in here. Team 5 Hillsheim, he's very good. Look at Team 4, 4 good receivers to start. Then he hits the running backs well, and then he goes with Caleb. Yeah, I don't love this. I mean, Juwan Johnson's a nice value. I think Kelsey's done personally. He looks fat, and I don't know why he's playing, considering he just hit the lottery in marriage, but he'll probably be done after this year. I mean, clearly. Team 4, nice start. Team 3, I might have passed on Tate for a running back because he had the 3. I mean, what a great start with Chase, Pickens, and Waddle, and then Lovely. That's a smoke start right there. And then he went with Warren and Dallas. So he goes with 2 Steeler. So the thing with Team 3 is he doesn't take a clear starting running back at all. I mean, so he's then hammers running backs. So he needs a running back to emerge and play in order for his team, to smash. But he did so good in the up, and he added Burrow, obviously, with Chase, which I do all the time. So he's got a top-heavy team, I would call it. Team 2, Sandhoff's a great drafter. He mixed it up. He went 3 running backs, took the Brooks value in round 6 with Scadaboo and Bijan, 3 receivers. He waited on quarterback, got Daniels to correlate with McLaurin. So, a lot of talent there. Obviously Nelson, number 1. Nelson knows what he's doing. I got to give Nelson kudos, not because I don't think he's great. He is great. Nelson always drafts well. You never look at a Nelson draft and say, what the hell is this guy doing? He's unbelievable. And he's a really good dude, too. So subscribe to Nelson's stuff. He's a good friend. Teams going back the other way, Team 7, went to tight end a little bit in round 3 after running back. So he went like me, we mixed it up, and then he hit running back again with Love, and then had to jump the receiver. But that's a nice middle there, right? Johnston, Pittman, Diggs. So he, like me, went 3 receivers, took different ones than I did. I like the receivers he took. I would have probably took Pittman over Concepcion, frankly, if he was there for me, but he wasn't. And I like Wilson over Johnston. Much of a Bronco fan. I'm not, Sutton I thought about, but I think Waddle is going to see a lot of balls. I think Evan Ingram's going to see a lot of balls in Denver. Who's not even being drafted. He'd be picked up on waivers quick if he smashes opening day. You'll see people who have tight end challenges all over Evan Ingram. So we'll see what happens there. He's very close with Davis Webb. And then, Team 7 added good running back depth. I wanted some of the guys. He took Washington ahead of me. Marshawn Lloyd, I would have thought about. Even though I wanted Rodriguez, I thought he was a good guy for me to grab at that point. So he goes with Dak, with Lamb. A lot of correlations in this draft. The hookups were made. Team 5, I know I talked about his team quickly, but he hooked up Trevor with Parker Washington, right, which is impressive. A lot of guys pulled it together in terms of connections. Even Team 4, looking back, Caleb and Luther Burden. So that was a correlation. Looking over at Team 8, he went with the Raiders stack. I don't know if he was the guy that took Mendoza, but he went with Bowers, and he did take Mendoza at the end. Funny enough, see, I kind of guessed that. I remember it. McConkey, I liked. McConkey would have been the guy I would have taken in the 3rd round if he was there. I was kind of hoping. I passed on Waddle, which I don't do a lot. So that was really my, kind of move. But again, I have a lot of Waddle. I wanted some Henry exposure in the prime time. So, I made that decision there. So Team 8, just shribbling in the 6th round, man, that's steamy. And that's wide receiver 3. So there's some risk there. It goes with his flex right now, is a combo of Stevenson, Pollard, or Coker. I mean, not my favorite way to go, but we'll see. Gets Justin Herbert round 10, great value, likely as tight end 2. Again, you got Bowers, likely could be a flex for a team like this, right? So, when you're looking at that, you're looking at likely in that spot. As much as you don't really need a backup for Brock Bowers, right? So likely, I think if I'm guessing, he drafted him as a flex potential. Team 9, hit McCaffrey, Walker, and then he went receiver. Then 2 running backs. Again, I personally don't love that because now you got a guy on a bench, right? You got 6 picks, and you have a guy on a bench, and you need receivers, and you only have 2. So that, to me, I'd argue more for a top-tier quarterback. I mean, yeah, okay. But, you got great running backs, McCaffrey and Walker. I don't understand, hitting Javonte in your flex because you don't like the receivers. Okay, I thought about it too, quite honestly. I don't think that was a bad pick. I would have loved Swift and Javonte for me instead of Wilson. I would have went heavy running back. But then they take another one, that and then you got Alec Pierce who's might even be playing. So this is and Mekhi Lemon has interest. So team 9, I don't love it personally. You got a lot of risk, a lot of injured guys, so he's got to really hope and pray some things come together for him, like Alec Pierce not being out for 9 weeks. Team 10, great start. Went with Achan and JT. Again, so he's got Ibuka, may not play week 1, got to see. So he's looking at, Jacobs in the flex, Sutton and Reed. You got to hope Jacobs doesn't get suspended. We're all waiting to see what happens with him. I personally don't think, some of these guys have to have court cases handled. The NFL, the NFL is like, they play this game. It's like a soap opera. They're going to suspend these guys or not. I'm not saying Josh Jacobs is innocent, but, I think people make these guys guilty before proven innocent. So let the legal system play out before you decide. Look at Rashee Rice, for God's sake. Got to be time of the years he was about to be suspended. So he's got some risk on this team. Griff's Fannin, good tight end value at 8. Waits on quarterback and then takes Stafford. Stafford had a great year last year. He's 150 years old, so you got to hope he stays on the field. And then backed him up with Jordan Love. So he's got Love with the Reed correlation. But, Ibuka was the value there, but it's the risk at the same time. You need him to play. Otherwise, you're starting, Sutton and Reed at wide receiver, which, my receivers aren't great on this team, but my top 2 are very good. So, I need one of my guys to hit in order to have solid 3 because my top 2 should be fine. And then looking at team 11, I love the Brown Cook start. I've done that many times. I think it's great. I love those 2 guys. I haven't been making any secret about that. I love Flowers. Harrison, that's a guy I want to take. He's broken hearts since he came into the league. Let's see what he does. If he does well, then you got Warren. Metcalf, mixed people love or hate Metcalf. He's been going anywhere from the 6th to the 9th round. He's all over the map. Yeah, Josh Downs is a nice start, right? You got your 2 running backs, premium tight end, 4 receivers. So, that's a nice kind of go. Again, I'm not a Harvey guy. I would personally rather have taken, White instead of Harvey. Dobbins. Harvey should not be going ahead of Dobbins, in my opinion. There's zero reason to take R.J. Harvey ahead of J.K. Dobbins. That doesn't make 0 sense to me when J.K.'s the clear-cut starter and Jonah Coleman will be running behind him. Then Worthy, Boston. So, you put the quarterback room together nicely with Goff and Mahomes. So, you're covered at quarterback, Boston for depth, and then he added the couple of running backs. So, it's a nice construction there. And then lastly, team 12, can't argue with the start. Brian Thomas in the 4th round is early. It's interesting, because receivers went. Brian Thomas, I think, is early 4th round. There's a case where, you could argue, look at all that green after him. I think he took Breece Hall, which was a good pick, right? And Breece Hall should be fine for opening day at the top end of the 5th round. But, Brian Thomas, I know you need receivers. There's a lot of good running backs sitting there. Swift, I'd rather have. Kieran Williams, Javonte, ATN, Montgomery. I take them all out of Brian Thomas. I know Brian Thomas is another boom or bust guy. We love the talent, but he was a problem last year in Jacksonville. A bit of an attitude problem, from what I was told. He's the X now, so it'll be interesting to see how he comes. He's another, him and Harrison are guys that can flip teams in the right direction or the wrong direction, in my opinion. Then he adds Judkins, right? So you got Judkins now firmly going to be your flex because, you went that way instead of the receivers that were out there. Okay, it's not bad. And then he moves Kittle up. Kittle was his tight end ahead of Kincaid. But people like Kittle. He's getting healthier. He should be seeing a lot of balls in San Francisco. And then, I like the Addison Shaheed depth. Those are nice, good depth receivers in Algier. So, he put together 3 nice picks. Again, those are the picks where you're building your bench 9 through 11. You need guys that are right on the cusp of playing. And I think he did that. Mark Andrews is backed up, so he's got the slowest, white tight end group in the world here. I'm not a big Andrews guy. I know people like Billy and I laughed about him at the beginning of the summer. People like Mark Andrews. It's interesting about Baltimore, my opinion, right? You got Flowers, it's clear number 1. There is no Jacoby Lane's flashing in preseason, but guys, just like exhibition baseball, those who watch baseball, guys, it's 15 home runs in spring training, might hit 110 in April, right? So some of these guys that are flashing now, you don't know what's going to happen in the regular season. Jacoby Lane You know, Ryder said the best camp he's ever seen anybody. Who knows how that correlates? It might correlate to nothing. So Andrews could see a lot of targets in Baltimore because there's nobody really proven outside of Zay Flowers there. And Derrick Henry ain't catching any balls. You know, maybe Justice Hill catches a lot of balls out of the backfield this year because they need people to throw to. So Andrews, you know, that's not bad as your backup, especially with Kittle. You know, you hope he's going to play, but, you know, you certainly have to hedge your bets a little bit. I think this guy didn't do it. Some people draft Tungus with Kittle because Tungus really played well last year in Kittle's absence. So, you know, you see a lot of that. You know, Trey Tucker picked, and, you know, he went with Rashad Bateman, another guy. So anyway, this is a prime time, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. 225 people watching at the end here. So everybody watching, appreciate you. Here's a primetime board. Take it in. See it. Again, very, very, very yellow on the left. So is this a new trend? We will see. But again, thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate you all. I'll see you out in the airwaves soon enough. Matty, Mo, and I back Sunday night, 10 o'clock. Should be a lot of fun. So we'll be picking an OC out of there. Sign up if you want to join the draft with Matty and I. We'll be talking about the draft and doing our thing. Thanks everybody for watching me tonight.